Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie and it is that time of year again. It's the most wonderful time of the year on YouTube land because all of us mamas on YouTube are are sharing our curriculum picks for the next year. So 2022-2023 Wonderable school year. And I just love it, not because I'm in a quandary necessarily about what I am choosing for my kids, but I'm doing a lot of research for my coming middle schoolers who are going to be entering into high school and wanting to just kind of solidify some of those more independent, what would you call them? Independent skills, and how I want to really focus and help them do like little steps along the way instead of homeschool. High school becomes this bam, I had no idea I was going to do it. So I will try and break this up into 3 or 4 videos. I haven't quite decided yet what I'm going to do, but this week's video is going to be about my curriculum picks for my autistic son Darrion, who is in a modified grade 8 year. And I cannot believe that we're there already, that he is nearing high school. Like, that's just blows my mind. And I think part of the gift of autism is that it is a lot more relaxed. You are modifying it to fit your child, and so at the very least I don't feel like, oh my goodness, I am overwhelmed with the high school of it all. But I have had to think and change some of my thought process now that he's nearing those years or those ages where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing for my next one coming up the pike, and I have time to think about it, thankfully. But yeah, it's been this really big, okay, now we need to change things up. So for my Mr. Darrion, the number one thing that I will continue to be doing is the Sunrise program. This was the book his dad, him and his wife actually made the Sunrise program for their little boy, Ron. And I just wanted to read it as kind of a refresher course, partly because the online program which I took, and I will leave a review down below that I did forever ago, down below for you to watch if you haven't heard of it. But I wanted to see from his perspective how they built the program, not just this is how to do it, which was what the online program really was. It was trying to train people in the methodology. This was more the personal day-to-day, this is what we did, this is how we struggled, this is how we overcame. I really felt like I needed that because it's been, oh my goodness, I want to say 5 years since we started doing our Sunrise program. And with Ron, because he was quite young, Darrion, we didn't start until he was 9. But Ron was quite young, and they were able to stop their program after 3 years because he was so much more improved. And so I just needed to see that little bit of this was what real life looked like. And so I'm hoping to get through this book by the time I start homeschool next year, just to kind of revitalize my homeschool, or my Sunrise program, for my son. So the reason why we like the Sunrise program so much is it because, and this is my kind of sheet for the things that we're currently working out, I won't show you it, but you work on 4 major things with your autistic child, and I feel like those things are still important for next year for us to deal with. So it's interactive attention span, that's how much he spends time interacting with people, not attention span just for attention span. Because if it's their interest, they can entirely have focus. Verbal communication, Darrion is still moving forward, just at a slower rate. And so, yeah, we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But verbal communication was important. Eye contact, he's still especially due to COVID-19 and the halt on our ability to get together with people. His eye contact with people has been really low, so we want to work on that. And then flexibility, a big part of why he's not necessarily improving in certain areas is because he is still very rigid about his schedule and how he wants things done. And so I'm really trying to figure out how to make some games that fit him. Stay tuned on this channel. There is more Sunrise program content coming as I start dealing with how are we going to deal with these and which games we can play. And I've got a bunch of ideas going on. It's going to be great. So when it comes to his academics, I will leave a link to when I built this little, it's not very professionally done, but it's a work in progress, but it's Darrion's new grade ladder. I found a very quick version of what will be in the video down below. I found that as I started homeschooling my girls, I was becoming really hyper focused on just how far behind my Darrion was, and I needed to throw out that ladder because that ladder was not applicable to my autistic son. And that's okay. He doesn't need to be where my girls are. I needed that little head check, if you will. And so I wrote new goals, new things that he was supposed to achieve per grade. And so one of those things was adding and subtracting, and it's okay that he's still working on those in grade 6, grade 7. I'm hoping this year he's been really resistant to doing math, and I will talk about that more in a little bit. But you know, if we have to adjust what is on my thing or on my new grade ladder, that is okay. And that's why I didn't put it in some fancy script or type, because this is adjustable. This is absolutely based on what my Darrion is showing me he is able to do, what he's willing to do, and nothing else. And a lot of it is including things like life skills and calendar skills and cooking his favorite meals and letter writing and all that sort of stuff that I really feel is important. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to continue doing Gather Around Homeschool with my Darrion modified. I'm still going to be doing early elementary with him. He still has not gone to the place where he wants to write long passages. We're not doing IEW with him, that sort of thing. But I do want to celebrate the fact that this year, before he would only write by holding a pencil in his sleeve, and I have got him this year. It took months and months and months, but he is now holding a pencil with a pencil grip and writing, and that is something I am so excited. He used to do it and then he stopped doing it, and he was like, I'm going to do it this way, Mommy. And I'm just so excited that with just allowing him to go at his pace, allowing him to take his time based on what he needed, that he really has achieved that skill again. And I'm very excited because it's amazing how much neater his handwriting is using a proper pencil grip. Go figure. But I'm really excited for that skill that he has relearned, redeveloped, and accepted. So what units are we going to do this coming year? We are going to be doing South America, and we're going to be doing Creepy Crawly unit. I figured both of these are very colorful, very interesting. He really excelled at doing the flag units, are the units with flags. So the continent unit, that's where my brain is trying to say. And he really loves the science units. So I really want to play up those skills, those abilities that he showed doing those things. One tip I wanted to give, if you are working with a child with autism or a child who doesn't really like holding pencils or drawing or whatever, I have found this really fun way of doing it. Right now we're doing the space unit, and one of the ways that I do it is I get these I like sticker books, and he picks and chooses what he's doing. So we did the earth in this one, and then I bought these lovely chalk, sorry, I'm gonna bump you, these chalk pastels, and while they're messy, and I thought Darrion wouldn't like it, he really loves it when, you know, even just plain, I'll get a color on him or whatever, but he actually really enjoys the texture and the feel of this. Some kids might not, but Darrion has, and I love what his art is becoming based on using those skills. So it's just a hint. Another thing that we will be doing to encourage his verbal communication, I told you I would talk about it in a little bit, is reading out loud. Now, sometimes there is a video or a movie that a child will just cling to and really enjoy. And for Darrion, one of those things was Green Eggs and Ham. And so he already had that story in his brain because he watched the video so many times. So this one gave him a certain amount of confidence. There were some words we had to work on when they change certain things. Like Dr. Seuss is brilliant at really practicing words. And what we've discovered is with Darrion reading this book aloud, some of the words that aren't linked with pictures, like a car is linked with a picture, or banana is linked with a picture. Words like, and what's another one here? Do not, with a, here, there. All of these words don't necessarily have a picture, and that's something that a lot of autistic kids struggle with because pictures are really straightforward, but some of those linking words in sentences, they don't have those, and so it's a struggle. What we've found is because we've been reading books that he feels confident in, and books that, like Dr. Seuss, that are just so good at the repetition, Darrion has started saying things like, hey, that's mine. That is a word. Mine is a word, that don't have pictures together. And so it's been really fun to start hearing him say those things. And I've just been really excited with just, you know, it takes, I don't know, 20 minutes for us to read a book like this. And yet those skills, those words that are actually reading out loud and coming out of his mouth are starting to apply themselves in his everyday life. Sienna, get away from me. Mommy, help me, please. Like these things that are just so awesome to hear from him, I believe are coming from this area of study that we're doing. Another thing is that I want to work on more life skills with him. We're getting to an age where he's becoming more aware of certain things. And so I'm really sorry, I'm trying to avoid the glare, but I've got a light here and it's raining outside. I've got this checklist for him, and so part of it is, you know, morning routine. What did we do? And some of the morning routine is, did you watch your Xbox? Part of it is that idea of, yeah, I did that, check, I did that, awesome. And then when you don't have one thing checked off, it's not like I failed at that, right? But I wanted to try again to get him to brush his teeth in the morning. We've got a really good routine about doing it at night, but less so in the morning. I want him to get dressed in the morning. I want to start teaching him how to make his own breakfast. And I think those will take time long term, but I really want to make life skills something that we really work on. And part of that is teaching him how to do a calendar, how to figure out what day of the week it is. Another thing is making a list and checking it off as you get it done. And so this, I feel, is a really good stepping stone into what could be things that he will utilize later in life. For Bible, there's a couple of things that I do. So this is something that I do at night with Darrion, and he reads his verse and then what it means. Again, this is teaching a lot of the thes and as and ands and no and have, all of those words that don't actually have specific meanings or picture meanings. And then it says, it's got an affirmation. What does this verse mean and apply to me? Jeremiah 29:11, God knows me and has a plan for my life. And I really have found that he knows this off by heart now, but I really want to keep it up and maintain it, because I really have found not only it's helpful for his speech, but I really wanted to hide the truth of God's word in his heart, and doing this every day and having those affirmations is really important. Now, I got these verses from the Oceans unit from Gather Round. He built them, and then I just photocopied them and put them on our fridge. But I also found these daily affirmations from Jamie Knight here on YouTube, and I thought that it might be something that we attach or also do. I'm not really sure. The other thing that I wanted to figure out was whether or not some of the other verses that we do in our units through Gather Round, maybe new ones that I want to teach him. I'm not quite sure which one we're going to do yet. That'll be to be determined, but it's definitely something that I want. So that kind of covers most of the academics except for mathematics. As I mentioned earlier, Darrion has been struggling to do math. It's one that is a struggle to make happy and exciting and play games and whatever. And so I've been struggling to find those things that would make him interested. I struggle because doing math on the computer can take up to 2-3 hours, and sometimes I just don't have that in my day. And so I've been really on this search, but essentially this is what we're going to be working on. I am going to start doing, once we're done this book, I think we're on like chapter 18, I want to say. So I'm not sure if we're going to continue doing like all of the pages on this. He gets the concepts, but of course I have to be there, and that's kind of my struggle with moving on, is just how reliant he is on me to keep him focused. But I know that he has the ability to do that. So one of the things that I've been doing to try and make it fun is take it into the playroom. I don't know if you all recognize this kind of stuff, but it's called Inchimals. This might all fall on top of me, but Inchimals, there we go. And you got the back of the board because the window fell out. But I got this on our local buy and sell, and I have found it to be really helpful because these guys, we do it in the playroom, and he puts them on the oh, he's upside down. We put them on the windowsill, and the ones that he needs for the math problem, he topples off, and I go, oh my goodness, and I try and catch them and make it a more fun thing. But inside this book, they have a book that says oh, there we go, upside down, elephant and bear. And you have to look at the sign to make sure you know whether you're adding or subtracting, and then you write the answer and write down the numbers. How tall is the elephant? And it says on the end, and then you count the inches, and you know, you write 11 minus what's the bear. But I don't know where the bear is. There he is. The bear, and he's written there, and you can count, and then you put it in, and then you figure out the answer. So again, it's another way of trying to make these, like, really solidify it in his head what we're going to be doing to make those math facts possible. The other thing that I figured we may move on to, I'm not sure, is doing the musical multiplication. Just because I want to see, it's a fun, simple, short lesson that we can go through real quick, and it might help to get those facts in his brain. Whether we do it or not, I'm still in a quandary. We'll figure it out, but I really wanted to have him move on to multiplication next year. So we'll see how it goes. I need to talk to some people and just get their feedback. My facilitator for homeschool, I need to figure that kind of stuff out. But that is my plan for my autistic son for his homeschool year, a modified 8th grade. If you have any questions, any concerns, any ideas, any feedback whatsoever, feel free to leave me a comment down below, and please subscribe if you want to see what we're doing for my grade 7, my grade 5er, and then our Fun Friday curriculum. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.